Tonight, an excruciating wait.
About hour 10, I was in so much pain, I just couldn't take it anymore.
One man's hours-long ordeal waiting for an ambulance after falling and breaking his hip. Also tonight, why a former NDP MLA is taking his former boss and colleagues to court more than a year after being booted from caucus. Plus, under new ownership.
We didn't exactly expect to also be running a bar.
What's in store for a popular West End tap room and the unconventional path bringing it back to life.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with another disturbingly long wait for a city ambulance. This time, a man in Wolseley who slipped outside was left waiting 11 hours before help arrived. CTV's Harrison Shin spoke with him today all about the ordeal and joins us now live. So Harrison, how is he doing?
Marilee, the man spent about 2 weeks in Grace Hospital after getting hip surgery. He says the pain was so overwhelming, he didn't even really react to the wait time, but now he's calling for a better system. We're sitting at?
Okay, so that's the chair I was sitting in for 11 hours while I waited for the ambulance. Not very comfortable.
Spending both Christmas and New Year's Eve in a hospital bed wasn't part of Ken McKinnon's holiday plan. McKinnon says at around 9:50 a.m. on Saturday, December 20th, he was walking to his car on this street in Wolseley when he slipped. He tried to get up, but he couldn't. He was lying in the roadway. A few minutes later, his neighbor Craig Wallace and his wife Christy saw him from their window.
I then ran outside, got my jacket on, ran outside. By that time, there was a second person with him and assessed the situation. He said he thinks he broke his hip, and so the three of us managed to move him into his house.
McKinnon says his wife Vera called an ambulance right after, but he says first responders did not come to his house until 9 p.m. that day, waiting for 11 hours.
I was just breathing through the pain. I was taking Tylenol and ibuprofen and nothing was helping. And I basically just couldn't move. Like if I moved like even slightly, a millimeter, I would be in shocking pain.
McKinnon says he was transported to Grace Hospital. He had a fractured hip, got a surgery done, and was discharged on New Year's Day. McKinnon says there has to be a system to deal with lengthy wait time.
After a certain point of length, you really need to be picked up because that's detrimental to your health, your mental health, and who knows how much it can make your injury worse.
And Marilee, it's worth noting this is not an isolated incident. In September, a 93-year-old man was left waiting on his front lawn for 6 hours for an ambulance after he also fell and broke his hip. While the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service would not comment on the incident, citing patient privacy as the reason, the union representing paramedics called it unacceptable.
So Harrison, what is the city saying about McKinnon's case?
Marilee, the city says it cannot provide specific details on this case due to privacy reasons. However, a spokesperson confirmed there was a staffing shortage on December 20th. Out of 19 ambulances that are normally on shift, 16 were staffed for daytime, 14 for the night shift. And in terms of the wait, they say the dispatchers use a triage system, meaning depending on the severity, some people may wait longer than others, similar to emergency rooms.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. We're getting a clearer sense of just how much repair work needs to be done following a nearly week-long power outage on a northern First Nation. Pimicikamat Cree Nation Chief David Monius says of the 1,300 plus homes in need of repairs, just 12% have been inspected so far, and only 2% of those have actually been fixed. On top of that, Monius says burst pipes have been discovered at the school, along with several portable schools, and the water and sewage treatment plants are barely functioning. He added there's still no timeline for when people can return.
It's visiting some of the houses to see the cracks on the floor and the sewage back up into the tubs and on the floor, the damage is done to the floor and then to the piping. We went to see the infrastructure. They seen firsthand the damages it's caused to the arena, to the youth center, to the water plant.
The outage began on December 28th, and the community declared a state of emergency shortly after. Several thousand people have sought shelter in Thompson, Winnipeg, and nearby hotels. Manitoba's premier is expected to visit Pimicikamat Cree Nation tomorrow to survey the damage. A former member of the NDP party, who now sits as an independent, is taking the premier and 2 MLAs to court. Mark Wasiliu says it's over alleged defamatory statements from around the time he was booted from caucus. He's accusing Wapkanu, Billy Cross, and Ian Bushy of defamation and a conspiracy to defame him. The comments mostly had to do with Wasiliu's loose connection to the Peter Nygaard case. It was revealed in 2024 Wasiliu's business partner was acting as Nygaard's criminal defense lawyer, which the NDP used as justification to remove him from the party. In court filings, Wasiliu points to several comments made by the trio, which he says are defamatory, including one from Canoe, which reads, quote, "You can either be affiliated with the NDP or you can be affiliated with Peter Nygaard, but you cannot do both." And another attributed to Cross, which reads, quote, "It's extremely hard to support a colleague who might benefit financially from representing a sexual predator." Now, in his statement of claim, Wasiliu says the statements were reckless, false, and defamatory and have damaged his reputation and business. He's asking for an unspecified amount in damages, an apology and retraction, and court costs. The NDP is not commenting on the matter. The allegations have not been tested in court, and none of the defendants have filed responses. It's also worth noting that Wapkanu did later apologize to Wasiliu's colleague, as well as defense lawyers in general. More hateful graffiti has popped up in Winnipeg, this time defacing a school in River Heights. In a letter to parents obtained by CTV News, Winnipeg School Division Superintendent Matt Henderson says a swastika was spray painted on Kelvin High School late Monday. Henderson says Winnipeg Police, along with the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs and the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg, were notified, and the division planned to remove the graffiti immediately.
I think as a community, we have to stand up and say this is wrong, this is heinous. We will not stand for this.
A spokesperson for the Winnipeg Police Service confirmed Major Crimes is investigating. It comes just days after congregation Sherry Zedek in Winnipeg was also tagged, and Habiz's Cafe, a Palestinian-owned restaurant, had its windows smashed. Both of those incidents are under investigation as well. The effects of last summer's devastating wildfires in Manitoba are still present and will impact recreational forest users this year. Monday, the province announced plans are being finalized for the restoration of Nopaming Provincial Park, while campgrounds at Bird and Beresford Lakes are expected to fully reopen for the 2026 summer season. Talubi Falls Campground is likely to partially reopen for the May-long weekend, though the group use site and walk-in backcountry sites will remain closed. Black Lake will remain closed to nightly and seasonal camping, and backcountry canoe routes will also be closed for the most part. Now, in the Whiteshell, plans for the restoration of the Mantorio Trail are being prepared. The province says due to the magnitude of the damage, Mantorio will likely stay closed well into the summer. All right, speaking of camping, let's bring Colleen Brady in and get a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Not quite camping season just yet, but temperatures are pretty mild for this time of year. Can't
I was
complain.
going to say, it would almost feel like camping temperatures. Well, not quite. That's going a little bit too far. But temperatures will be rising throughout the night across much of the province and coming pretty close to freezing, if not exceeding the freezing mark in the south. I'll show you where coming up. Let's take a look right now. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. A light dusting of snow continues over the city as it does out in Brandon. It's -10 here in Winnipeg. When you factor in those south winds at 19 kilometers an hour, the wind chill makes it feel like -17. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now, merrily, is 92%.
Thanks, Colleen. A picture of a Winnipeg homicide suspect is being splashed in high-traffic areas of our city. A billboard campaign is underway in an attempt to find Tresor Horenbear, wanted for a 2024 shooting at a soccer complex. Winnipeg police partnered with a nonprofit from Quebec named BOLO, which stands for Beyond the Lookout. Live with more tonight is CTV's Jeff Keel. So, Jeff, where are these billboards?
Two of them are in South Winnipeg and two are here on Portage Avenue, and they're hard to miss if you drive or walk by. Take a look here, Mary Lee. They are yellow. They have pictures of the suspect, and the billboards spell out a large cash reward.
He's considered one of the top most wanted suspects in Canada, and now the Winnipeg Police Service is hoping these billboards will help them find Trezor Horambert.
It was obvious for us that the case should be prioritized as much as possible.
Winnipeg Police have teamed up with the Quebec-based nonprofit BOLO organization, which stands for Be on the Lookout. The group profiles most wanted suspects across the country in partnership with police agencies. In this case, there are alerts on social media and 4 billboards in high-traffic areas, 2 on Portage Avenue and 2 in South Winnipeg, offering a reward of up to $100,000.
It's part of the standard toolbox that we have at BOLO program to amplify cases.
Police issued a Canada-wide warrant for Trezor Horambert last February in connection to a 2024 shooting at this South Winnipeg soccer complex. 22-year-old Mohammed Yusuf Abduli was shot and killed after playing in a game.
At a public event, in a public setting, with deep community impacts.
The Winnipeg Police Service says they've been working with BOLO for many years. The BOLO program has been effective in generating tips and will continue to be utilized in future WPS-led investigations. And if you do have information to share, BOLO's executive director wants people to know the reward expires on June 9th.
So I urge you to call now if you have something to say.
Now, the billboards are expected to be up between 4 and 8 weeks.
Jeff, how does BOLO choose which cases to profile?
Well, BOLO says that it works with police forces across the country to come up with a top 25 most wanted list. It says it's featured 90 cases since 2018, and in more than half of those cases, arrests have been made.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. Brandon's Civic Services Complex is reopening this week, 2 years after a natural gas explosion rocked the building. In September of 2023, an explosion at 900 Richmond Avenue East sent a city employee to hospital and caused serious damage, requiring extensive repairs. In a release Monday, the city says the building will reopen to the public Thursday. However, some services still won't be available in person as staff are transitioning back. The Civic Services Complex is home to departments such as risk management, Brandon Transit, and building maintenance. A Winnipeg harm reduction agency is warning a dangerously potent opioid has been detected for the first time. It looks like this, a simple white pill marked with TEC on one side. Street Connection says it's believed to be Percocet, but testing determined it actually contained a substance called metonitazine. Now, according to the World Health Organization, the drug is more powerful than fentanyl and hydromorphone, has no therapeutic purpose, and is responsible for deaths in various parts of the world. Street Connection says this is the first time it's detected the substance. After nearly half a year on the shelf, a West Broadway institution is reopening. A pair of architects have renovated Langside Grocery, and CTV's Joseph Bernacki has more on what the 114-year-old property means to the community.
This old bell is a new addition for returning customers at Langside Grocery. New owners Peter Sampson and Liz Reeford are excited to bring a new chapter to the West Broadway bar.
The opportunity to become good friends and neighbors with the people that we work with, and live beside is just a dream for us.
The pair bought Langside Grocery when it went up for sale last summer. Since 2017, it's become a beloved neighborhood bar. With their background in architecture, the new owners have moved into the second and third floors of the space to oversee their firm, Public City. The new owners say it's a joy to breathe new life into the entire building.
It feels like it's bringing the past forward. It's really nice to see a building like this just get used the way it was meant to be used.
It's, I think, my favorite building in the whole city. And when we saw that it was for sale, we jumped on it.
Originally home to Hill Brothers Grocery in 1912, the bar's current name is inspired by the 1942 moniker Langside Grocery. Reeford says very little work was needed inside to keep that 1920s look. Aside from removing the taxidermy and touching up some paint, the two took the opportunity to add some family heirlooms to keep that century-old feel.
We've been able to bring the family back to the grocery store in some way. There's pieces of Liz's family, pieces of my family, just kind of all over the grocery now, and it's kind of a nice little, I don't know, it's like a grocery store of curiosities.
West Broadway Biz says it's encouraging to see new owners keep the look of the heritage building intact. The organization says there are several independent shops in the neighborhood that keep West Broadway a unique space for people to live and work.
Many of the residents live in apartment buildings that are the same age or even older than Langside Grocery. And so it's very important, I think, and exciting to see that sort of adaptive reuse.
As he tinkers with his great-grandfather's clock from 1928, Sampson says their opening on Friday will turn the page on more than a century's worth of history.
It's really exciting to be a part of that story.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Still to come tonight, Venezuela on edge and Colombia on guard. Gunfire erupts in Caracas and unease grips Colombia as the Trump administration signals it will exert more control on other countries. We'll have the latest when we return. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil is down a little over $1. The Canadian dollar lost 0.1 cent. Gold added $44. The TSX gained 187 points. The Dow Jones rose 484 points, while the Nasdaq ended the day 151 points higher. Now that Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro has been captured and charged with drug trafficking, many are asking, what's next for the country? Well, the U.S. president says he will run Venezuela. It's unclear what the plan is. CTV's Joy Melvin has more from Washington.
The U.S. president taking a victory lap at the renamed Trump Kennedy Center.
It was brilliant tactically.
Donald Trump reveling in the American military might that captured former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, now in a U.S. prison charged with narco-terrorism.
We had a lot of boots on the ground, but it was amazing. And think of it, nobody was killed, and on the other side, a lot of people were killed. Unfortunately, I say that, soldiers. Cubans, mostly Cubans.
Tensions are high in Caracas after gunfire erupted overnight. Armed military police now patrolling the streets. The U.S. president insists he's in charge and will run Venezuela and help rebuild its oil infrastructure. Maria Machado, the democratically elected opposition leader who's in hiding, vowed to return, praised Trump's actions.
What he has done, as I said, is historic. It's a huge step towards a democratic transition.
And yet the Trump administration isn't focused on that, supporting Maduro's hand-picked vice president as leader, saying the U.S. can work with her.
The initial hopes that the departure of Maduro might represent a change in this hated regime have been dashed, seemingly endorsed by the United States, a woman who's got significant amounts of blood on her hands.
Trump's national security strategy suggests America will exert more control. The State Department posting this with the words, "This is our hemisphere." The president warns Colombia could be next, that country beefing up troops on the Venezuelan border. And Greenland on edge after Trump's closest advisor said this.
For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States.
Donald Trump's threats have rattled several countries as many question what comes next for the people of Venezuela and when or if there will be elections. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
There are parallels being drawn by some between the U.S. military action in Venezuela and China's ambitions toward Taiwan. Janice Mackey-Frere has more on reaction in Beijing.
For nearly 2 decades, China has been more than just a trading partner for Venezuela. It is a key political backer and a financial lifeline. At stake for China, debt, influence, and oil. China has given over $100 billion in loans to Venezuela over the years, according to aid data, and has also been the main buyer of Venezuelan oil as U.S. sanctions have closed off other markets. The removal of Nicolas Maduro from power and the U.S. running Venezuela, as President Trump has said, will undercut the influence and business interests that China has been building in Latin America. Just hours before U.S. Special Forces captured Maduro, he was meeting with China's special envoy, and the optics of that indicated Beijing had no idea what was about to unfold for Maduro or unravel for China. Officially, China has condemned the U.S. action, calling it a serious violation of international law. Mainly, China's looking to protect its interests in Venezuela in energy, manufacturing, and mining. The raid also ignited Chinese social media with the idea that President Trump's Trump's attack plan could be a blueprint for China to take Taiwan, which Beijing considers part of its territory. But the big question here is what's next, and where will China stand in the line of creditors looking to collect? That will depend on who ultimately controls Venezuela, as President Trump appears to be telling China to stay out of America's backyard. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Beijing.
Demonstrations in Iran continue as protesters clashed with security forces in Tehran. People are upset over the plunging value of Iran's currency and soaring inflation. At least 35 people have been killed. The country's currency fell to a record low yesterday. Authorities in Switzerland say the bar that was the scene of the New Year's Eve fire that had not had a safety inspection since 2019. 40 people were killed in that fire and more than 100 were injured. The mayor of the town says he accepts responsibility for the fire. He also says the sparklers, which are believed to have started the fire, will be banned at local establishments moving forward. Orthodox Christians around the world attended Epiphany ceremonies today to commemorate the baptism of Christ. Outside Athens, dozens of swimmers rushed to retrieve a wooden cross thrown by a priest into the water. Participants believe good fortune will come their way when they take part in the annual custom. By tradition, the person who retrieves the cross will be freed from evil spirits and will be healthy throughout the year. Orthodox Christian churches in some countries celebrate on January 19th, as their Christmas is tomorrow. Back here in Winnipeg, a local pilot project is making it easier for Winnipeg seniors to access nutritious and affordable food. It's called the Food Access Bus. Once a month, it picks seniors up from the 55-plus apartment complexes in Old Kildonan and brings them to Freshco to shop for an hour. The program was launched in October and is designed to give older adults access to healthy food options. Old Kildonan City Councillor Debbie Sharma says the program is breaking down transportation barriers and providing seniors with a fun outing at the same time.
It fosters that independence that they're going out themselves with a group, and opposed to, a family member dropping off groceries. So there is that sense of independence that grows with folks that maybe rely on someone else to bring them groceries.
The pilot project is being offered in collaboration with Seven Oaks Resource Network and Gwen Sector Creative Living Center. It's set to run for 6 months. The Winnipeg Jets are looking to end a 9-game losing streak.
At the end of the day, we need wins. We all know what's at stake, and we all know where we're at in the standing.
Will actions speak louder than words? The Jets report is coming up.
And just how long will these unseasonably mild temperatures last? Well, throughout the long-range forecast, normal high for this time of year for the city is closer to minus 13 degrees. You'll see some overnight lows in the next few nights, closer to that. As for the daytime highs, we're well above minus 5, minus 6 Thursday, Friday, sunshine Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud Friday. Similar sky conditions all throughout the weekend and into next week. Minus 10 Saturday, but back up to minus 4 by Sunday, and possibly as high as 0 by Monday.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Some of the top curlers in the world are in Steinbach this week for the final event of the 2025-26 Grand Slam of Curling Tour. And a handful of Manitoba teams are hoping to leave their mark at the Crown Royal Players Championship. Representing Canada, Winnipeg's team Brad Jacobs squared off against Scotland's Ross White this afternoon. At last check, White was leading 6-3 after 7 ends. On the women's side, Gimli's Carrie Einarsson took on the team from South Korea. That game just wrapped up moments ago with Einarsson posting a 12-7 loss. And the final Manitoba team in action today is Matt Dunstone, who is going up against fellow Canadian Mike McEwen. Those teams will take the ice any minute now. The Winnipeg Jets sit dead last in the NHL standings midway through the season, but General Manager Kevin Cheveldayoff says it ain't over yet, and you can only control what's in front of you. And for the Jets, that's a showdown with the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. CTV's Daniel Helmerson has more.
from.
The Winnipeg Jets' basement-dwelling season and how the team can dig out of it were big talking points Monday during GM Kevin Cheveldayoff's lengthy Q&A with reporters.
All we can control right now is the next game in front of us, and I think that's got to be our mindset.
And that next game mentality will be put to the test tonight.
At the end of the day, we need wins. You know, we all know what's at stake, and we all know where we're at in the standing.
The Jets were near the top of the league through 40 games last year, en route to the franchise's first President's Trophy. Now they sit dead last at the halfway mark and 9 points out of a playoff spot. To make matters worse, the Jets have lost 9 straight.
Our leaders they're doing everything they can to help. To pull these guys, to keep these guys upbeat, to keep them positive. As the coaching staff, we're trying to do the same thing.
But despite the team's current woes, defenseman Luke Shen, suiting up in his 1100th NHL game Tuesday, says the locker room isn't ready to wave the white flag.
You feel like you're looking up and you're thinking, wow, this is a long ways to go, but you start with that one and then you build from there, you get that next one, and it's you get that feeling. Sometimes it can be, contagious.
The Jets will look to catch that feeling against the Vegas Golden Knights, who are on a 5-game skid of their own. Head coach Scott O'Neill says this one's going to be a dogfight.
Everybody's got to play heavy, no matter if you weigh 150 pounds or you weigh 225 pounds. This is one of those ones that you got to win. You got to get your nose over the puck and you got to win your battles.
And he hopes winning those battles translates into winning games.
You can't dwell on what happened, and that's pretty much what I've been saying in the last little stretch here. We got to win tonight. That's simple as it is.
Connor Hellebuck is slated to start in net, and puck drop from Canada Life Centre goes at 7. Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady is back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. And I know last night we were dealing with a little bit of misty, wet fog conditions. Anything like that for motorists to deal with tonight?
Not nearly as much. Can't rule it out entirely, but not as much as we saw last night. But I'll still show you some more fabulous photos of rime ice. We were talking, of course, about the difference between rime ice and hoarfrost last night. So I'll show you some pretty good pictures to show you some of that rime ice. Now, as we head into the night ahead, still a little bit of light snow falling in Winnipeg. It's been falling since around midday. It's been falling for much of the day in Brandon. It's so light, though, it's not even picking up on radar. Same thing over in Kenora. A little bit of light snow reporting there, and up in the north, cloudy around Thompson. There's some ice crystals reporting around Churchill. Now, as the clouds build up tonight across the north, they will clear out down here in the south, but those most northern areas, Brochet to Dooley Lake, Churchill, you might catch a little bit of this light snow, and there's not much to it. Even flurries really passing through over the next few hours. Meanwhile, as the skies clear, the temperatures will just continue to rise really all throughout the evening and overnight. Sunshine across much of the south tomorrow. A little bit more of a mixed bag across the north, but temperatures will be rising too overnight across much of the north. So it'll be a reasonable day temperature-wise for much of the north. Down here in the south, talk about reasonable. We'll get close to freezing. Some areas may even exceed the freezing mark tomorrow. Then we get into tomorrow night. Not a lot changes. A pretty benign weather pattern over Manitoba and northwestern Ontario over the next few days, while the temperatures remain very mild for this time of year. So much so that temperatures will be rising throughout the night. We should land at about -8 by morning. Now, having said that, we're at -10 right now, so it's not like we have a lot to climb, put it that way. But we've been at -10 all afternoon, but will rise a little bit throughout the night. Partly cloudy overnight. We'll get some of that clearing. We should still be sitting at -8 for the commute. Mostly sunny. Winds out of the southwest at 15 kilometers an hour on the way to a high of -2 degrees. I mentioned earlier the normal daytime high for this time in January for Winnipeg is closer to -13. Tonight in Churchill, as I mentioned, there's a chance you might get a light dusting of a few flurries, otherwise cloudy. Temperatures not rising there tonight. You drop to -23, but Gillam, the temperatures will rise, as they will in Island Lake, up to -13 in Island Lake. Thompson, you'll see temperatures get to -17 by morning. Cloudy there. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow with a high in Thompson of -14. Island Lake, look at that. There's a chance of a few flurries. Otherwise, you'll get some sun up to -9 in the afternoon. You'll see some clearing through Flin Flon and the Paw. Those areas dropping to -18 overnight. Lots of sunshine around the region tomorrow. Highs between -10 and -14. In the southwest tonight, partial clearing. Temperatures rising. Brandon up to -9 by morning. Dauphin up to -8. And then look at these temperatures. -2 in Dauphin, -3 for Brandon. Swan River not far behind, -6 degrees. All those areas in the sunshine. Winnipeg in the southeast, partly clearing tonight. Temperatures rising throughout the night, up to -8, -7, -8 in most areas. And look at those temperatures, so close to freezing in the sun. And in northwestern Ontario, cloudy tonight, -7, -9 degrees. And then cloudy at least in the morning. You should actually see some sunshine in the afternoon, all the way up to +1 tomorrow in Fort Frances. My goodness. Let's take a look at our first photo. Again, look closely. You can see those super cooled water droplets that make that rime ice you see there on that Colorado spruce tree. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Beautiful shot nonetheless. That's from Neil. That's here in Winnipeg. And another look at the rime ice on the trees. In Lenswood, Manitoba, that photo is from Judy. That's close to Swan River. Send us your pics to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. When people come out to Dakota Community Center to watch a hockey game, they want to see all the action. But that wasn't always easy for those living with physical disabilities. It is, however, easy today as 2 new accessible viewing platforms opened up at the community center. Those new platforms you're looking at there ensure people who are unable to climb stairs can now safely enjoy ice sports at Dakota. The platforms have built-in seating along with 4 designated spaces for people who use wheelchairs or walkers.
What you're standing on today and what you're experiencing is really kind of, I would say, the epitome of inclusiveness. These platforms, they're about belonging, they're about independence, they're about equal access to shared experiences, and really what it comes down to, again, I'll just repeat, they're about inclusiveness.
The total cost of the project was $185,000. The city contributed $100,000 from the community center renovation grant.
The numbers of dementia are going to triple between now and 2050.
And experts say the new year is a great opportunity to start making changes to lower your risk. We'll have those details next in Medical Watch. Stats Canada says spending by international tourists in Canada is up. Tourism spending rose 0.7% in the third quarter, seeing more international visitors spending more across most tourism industries. The largest growth was attributed to accommodation services, but spending by Canadian tourists within our country slowed, up only 0.5%. A drop from a huge boost we saw in the last quarter. Meantime, the number of non-residents traveling into Canada increased in October, but decreased in November. And joining me now to discuss all of this is Colin Ferguson, President and CEO of Travel Manitoba. Colin, good to speak with you.
Good to speak with you, Marilee, and Happy New Year.
Same to you. And the new year off to a good news start as far as tourism is concerned. What do you think has led to the rise in the numbers of international tourists we're seeing?
Well, the numbers that you're referencing are the national numbers, so those are right across the country. We won't have all of those numbers probably until the fall of next year. But what we do have is we do have the U.S. numbers, which also represent a large percentage of our international customer base. They are up by land by 5.7%, and they're up just about 16% by air, which is really quite remarkable. Now, that still trails behind our 2019 record numbers. However, we are one of only a couple of provinces that have actually seen increases in U.S. visitation into their provinces. It is largely due to the fact that we see a lot of American anglers that come up and fish our waters. That's one. And of course, they come to Churchill primarily to see beluga whales in the summertime, polar bears in the fall, and now they're up to see the northern lights in January and February. So our numbers are good. They're holding. We anticipate that they will continue to be good. Americans are welcome in Manitoba, and we continue to tell them that. We are also seeing what we anticipate will be pretty strong increases and pretty good numbers coming out of our other international destinations, that being the UK, France, Germany, and Australia. So overall, we think the numbers are going to continue to be positive. We're catching up to our record 2019 levels, and we will get there, I anticipate, in the next year or the next 24 months. But it's good to see so many visitors coming back. We had a very tough summer, as you well know, with the wildfires, which caused certainly a lot of cancellations into fly-in fishing camps and the like. We were able to recover some of that as we got into the latter part of the summer, and a lot of those international customers came back, which was great. So we know we've got the product. and we anticipate we will continue to attract.
Yet you anticipate to see this upward trajectory continuing, as we make our way through this year as well?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously the situation in the U.S. is changing fairly rapidly, and it could have an impact. However, as it stands right now, we are still seeing pretty strong numbers coming out of the U.S. in particular, and we are now starting to really see some of the international customers looking at Canada as a destination, more so than they ever did.
You highlighted some of the big draws, the beluga whales and Churchill with the polar bears, but overall, what do you think is making Manitoba a choice for these international dollars to be spent?
Well, believe it or not, first of all, the first three things, and the first three that I mentioned, beluga whales, polar bears, and northern lights viewing. From a northern lights perspective, Churchill's be one of the top 3 places on the planet to view northern lights, and it's starting to get heard, and we're starting to see a return there. So that's good. Funnily enough, people actually are also coming to Canada to experience winter, and Manitoba. Nobody does winter better than we do, and I'm not joking. I mean, it may come a little early, and at times it leaves a little late, but it's consistent. And so if you are interested in ice fishing, if you're interested in snowmobiling, which I know a lot of our U.S. Visitors are interested in doing, they're coming because they know they're going to get consistent product.
Well, Colin, I want to thank you so much for your insight into these latest numbers. It was great speaking with you.
Always a pleasure. Call at any time.
Doctors are raising the alarm about a troubling trend among teens and kids as they see a rise in young people using illegal high-dose caffeine pouches.
Yeah, if a person is using these caffeine pouches, you might see that they're more irritable compared to normal. They might have a tremor in their hands and extremities, and it might appear to be more anxious. And, as you mentioned, it's dangerous because a lot of these pouches have doses of caffeine much higher than just a regular cup of coffee.
Health risks include cardiovascular issues and gastrointestinal problems when it comes to caffeine intake for teens. Health Canada advises no more than 2.5 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. That equates to roughly 1 cup of coffee a day for someone who weighs 125 pounds. Living a healthier lifestyle is a popular New Year's resolution, one health experts encourage, especially when it comes to brain health and protecting against dementia. Karis Mapp explains.
It's that time of year.
My resolutions are to read more books, to learn how to ride a bike, to learn how to swim, and practice skating.
People of all ages committing to resolutions for 2026 or not.
No, not really. I mean, I'm just kind of living day by day and kind of hoping for the best.
But with a fresh start to the year, many people are prioritizing good habits.
I should eat healthy because I'm getting old. I want to live longer because of my grandson.
A fun New Year's tradition, but scientists specializing in brain function say they can have many long-term benefits.
People commit to exercising more, to eating in a healthier way, to cutting down on smoking or drinking. And all of these things are risk factors for dementia. So anything we can do to help improve our health will help reduce our risk of developing dementia.
January is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. The progressive brain disorder slowly destroys memory and often leads to dementia.
Alzheimer's is the most common disease that causes dementia, but for all of them, lifestyle matters to a huge extent. Genetics has a lesser role in our chance of developing dementia than lifestyle does.
Experts say the number of people developing dementia is still on the rise, mostly because the cohorts of baby boomers are approaching the average onset age of 72.
The numbers of dementia are going to triple between now and 2050. However, the incidence of dementia, which is the likelihood that any one person will get it, is actually on the decline.
While the new year often kickstarts the initiative, some say a ball drop isn't needed to take the first step.
I think if you're going to just work out and get better for yourself, I think you're going to do it no matter what.
Meaning it's never too early to focus on cognitive maintenance.
Eat better, holistically rather than a specific goal.
Dr. Nicole Anderson said, along with eating right and exercising, being social is just as important.
We know that the cognitive engagement and the social connections that comes from being socially connected are so important for reducing dementia risk.
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Kitchener.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic.
Just to help, Winnipeggers get through the winter and, survive these long, cold, dark evenings.
Looking to shake the winter blues? The WAG's got you covered. Find out how coming up in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the incredibly hip and the Stoneheads.
Wednesdays at the WAG are about to get a weekend vibe. The Winnipeg Art Gallery is offering an after-hours experience and free admission to its galleries on Wednesday evenings. It's called WAG Wednesday Nights. It will include music, tours, and creative pop-ups. You will get to do all of this while avoiding weekend crowds. Officials with the Winnipeg Art Gallery say they heard from the community that they wanted to have more evening options.
We believe at the WAG, and there have been some studies out of the UK recently, that looking at art really boosts or enhances people's mental health. And so we're really grateful that we are able to offer this sort of programming midweek just to help, Winnipeggers get through the winter and, survive these long, cold, dark evenings.
The first WAG Wednesday Nights is this Wednesday. It will feature a performance by Begonia. Now, if you can't make it to this one, don't worry. The Winnipeg Art Gallery plans to hold these Wednesday events for years to come. The Golden Globes kicks off Hollywood's award season Sunday.
Let me ask you something. Do you make money at this little table tennis thing?
Not yet.
Do you have a job?
No.
Acting nominees include Timothy Chalamet, Michael B. Jordan, Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Emma Stone, and Leonardo DiCaprio. DiCaprio's One Battle After Another is the top nominated film with 9 nominations and is an Oscar frontrunner. The 83rd edition of the show will be hosted for the second year by comedian Nikki Glaser. It airs live at 7 p.m. on CBS and streams live on Paramount+. And speaking of Nikki Glaser, she's going back on tour that will bring her to Winnipeg.
I think some moms think that if you don't have kids, you're a selfish person. And I get that. I just don't feel like devoting my free time to something that could marry a DJ. I just think that's reckless.
It's called Nikki Glaser The Stunning Tour. The comedian will be performing in Winnipeg at Centennial Concert Hall on August 7th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. online through centennialconcerthall.com. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 tonight with Will Trent. High Potential is on at 8. Catch The Rookie at 9. And Best Medicine wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
We want to engage artists in those communities that can bring their creativity, bring their imagination.
Calling all artists. Still to come, how you can help kids receiving care feel a little more at home.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tonight, Mark Carney shrugs off U.S. plans to get more oil from Venezuela.
We also see the competitiveness of Canadian oil.
And what critics say is needed to head off a future economic threat. We'll have that story and more later on CTV National News and watch live on Crave.
Minus 10 degrees right now in Winnipeg. A little bit of light snow falling at the airport. Not seeing any out of our studio windows here downtown. Minus 10 with the wind chill. It feels like minus 17 when you factor in those south winds. Now, the highest temperature of the day was actually overnight, minus 6. The normal high is minus 13. On this day a year ago, minus 14.6 was the highest we could manage tonight. Minus 10 now, but we will rise to about minus 8 by morning, and then up to minus 2 under a mix of sun and cloud or outright sunshine Wednesday. Sunny Thursday, minus 5 degrees, minus 6 under a mix of sun and cloud Friday. A little bit of a dip, relatively speaking. Saturday, minus 10, but sky conditions stay relatively sunny. Back up to minus 4 on Sunday, merrily 0 by Monday.
Thanks, Colleen. Being in the hospital is never fun, especially true if you're a kid, which is why the Children's Hospital Foundation of Manitoba is calling on artists to help brighten up the hospital.
So right here is our double doors. So you go through the first set of doors and
The foundation plans to choose up to 20 artists to create nature-themed and child-friendly artwork for the cancer, blood disorder, and transplant wards. And it's good timing for a project like this. The Children's Hospital is currently undergoing a huge renovation project as part of a broader revitalization campaign. Officials want to help the kids feel more at home in the space.
We want to engage artists in those communities that can, bring their creativity, bring their imagination to help through design improve the experience of the kids and the caregivers and the families during their challenging times.
Artists can learn more about the project by going to graffitigallery.ca. And if you want to submit an idea, the deadline for applications is February 2nd. Send those applications in. Make some cool spaces for those kids. Yeah.
A fun and meaningful way to contribute to Children's Hospital.
Yeah. Spend a lot of time in those rooms. So some new artwork will help a long way.
Brighten those spirits.
All right. That does it for us this evening. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.